Okay, so I just wanted to go over a few Stanley Cup odds on FanDuel right now. So I thought a couple of them were pretty interesting. Just cruising through them this morning. So for the Stanley Cup, Colorado is the favorite at plus 500, which I think is pretty interesting in and of itself. But Carolina is plus 1,000. That's not a bad pick considering the fact that they have the best points percentage in the league right now, I believe. And they have several games in hand on teams like Tampa Bay, teams like Florida, that kind of thing. Now, obviously, this is for the Stanley Cup. This isn't for the President's Trophy. We'll get to that in a second. But Carolina's plus 1,000. What's interesting about that is Vegas is plus 800. That seems a little odd to me. Toronto is also plus 1,000. Of course, they got to get out of the first round for you to take them seriously, right? But Pittsburgh's plus 1,600. Washington's plus 1,800. St. Louis is plus 2,500. St. Louis not a terrible pick at plus 2,500 for the Stanley Cup. I mean, not a bad pick. Rangers are 2,200. So I'm looking through these. Tampa Bay is plus 700. Colorado is the favorite, like I said. I mean, Carolina at plus 1,000, that looks like a pretty nice pick. And I don't know, that St. Louis at plus 2,500, I'm not saying St. Louis is going to win it, but they've looked pretty good this year. I don't know. I kind of like that pick at 2,500. You're getting pretty good odds for that. So St. Louis at plus 2,500, Carolina at plus 1,000. You know, Colorado at plus 500, you're not getting the best odds. Tampa Bay at plus 700, they could three-peat. I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, they're having a hell of a regular season right now. I was just surprised at Vegas being plus 800. That's just very surprising to me. And you have Carolina with the best points percentage in the league at plus 1,000. I don't know. Anyway, so we'll move on to the President's Cup here. And what's interesting is about this is Carolina is plus 450 for the President's Cup. Colorado is plus 200. As far as the favorite, so far, like I said, Carolina's got the best points percentage in the league. So plus 450, I feel like they should be the favorites. Although I don't remember what Colorado's is. Maybe they're higher? I don't think they were at the time, but I mean, something tells me they must be if they're plus 200. But anyway, I mean, I would pick Carolina to win the President's Cup right now, but anything can happen. I mean, obviously you get some injuries, just teams go go into a slump, they go on a streak, blah, 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 whatever. Tampa Bay is plus 550. Rangers, I tweeted this out this morning. Rangers are plus 2,000. I think they're what? 3 to 5 points back of first in total points. And again, Carolina's got the better points percentage, and they have, I think, at least 3, if not 5 games on, if it's not the Rangers, then it's on Tampa Bay and Florida, teams like that are ahead of them in total points. But Rangers have a 700 points percentage. So they're doing pretty good themselves. And at plus 2,000, I kind of like their odds. And what's interesting about this, Vegas is plus 5,000. So you got Vegas at plus 5,000 to win the President's Cup, but they're plus 800 to win the Stanley Cup. I don't know, man. That seems kind of weird to me. Florida is at plus 450. They could win it as well. So yeah. But I mean, as far as odds go, I like the Rangers at plus 2,000. Washington Capitals are plus 4,700. If they could get hot and get going a little bit, plus 4,700 wouldn't be so bad. We've seen the Minnesota Wild play well as well. They're at plus 5,000. I mean, considering the odds that you're getting, maybe Minnesota is worth a look. Pittsburgh is plus 2,000. St. Louis is plus 8,000. I mean, if you want to take, give the Rangers a look at plus 2,000, Minnesota at 5,000, and St. Louis at 8,000, maybe, and then just, sneak a pick at throw a pick in at Carolina at plus 450. Why not? But I mean, some of those odds were pretty interesting when I looked at them this morning. So let's see what's going on. I got my handy dandy note sheet here. Nazem Kadri. He got into the All-Star game, thankfully. What was he, 4th in points at the time when the original roster was released? That was kind of crazy. I am looking forward to the day where they change the stupid rule that each team has to have a representative in the All-Star game. And I know they're not the only sport that does it, because baseball does the same thing. But what's that about? I mean, if you're not an All-Star, I mean, come on. Does any fan really want that? I mean, is there really any fan that thinks, their team, even if their team is lousy, should have a representative in the All-Star game, that they actually think that's good for the All-Star game? Like, how is that good? I don't understand. You have to leave other star players out because you need a representative from every team. It's ridiculous. But I think everybody realizes it's ridiculous. Everybody knows it's ridiculous. Even the leagues probably know it's ridiculous. So I don't see how is that going to help attract, fans from those markets that wouldn't necessarily have an All-Star. Are they going to watch the All-Star game now because they have one of their players representing their team? That sounds kind of ridiculous if you ask me, but who knows? And speaking of Kadri, Colorado, and they just keep rolling, don't they? What was it? They beat Anaheim. What was it? 2-0. Was it last night or the night before? And obviously, if they can limit teams to not scoring many goals, and they don't have to outscore you, but they can win, games like 2-0, 3-1, even 4-2, something like that. Man, they're going to be tough to beat, especially come playoff time. So yeah, I mean, it was, like I said, it was cool to see Kadri get in. I mean, I know Nathan McKinnon and Makar get into it as well. So you got 3 from the Avalanche. And that's a little segue there to get into 3 players I like that are available quite a bit in the ESPN leagues. Jack Hughes is one. Are there no Devils fans out there, or do people just hate the Devils? Like, what's that about? Jack Hughes, it's his first All-Star game. He was a first overall pick, 3 years ago? I think he's 20 years old. He's rostered in 63% of ESPN leagues now. So almost 40% of ESPN leagues, he's available. He's got 9 goals and 21 points in 21 games. Again, he's 20 years old, first overall pick, but he plays on the Devils. I mean, I feel like if he played, on the Rangers or, heaven forbid, the Lightning or something like that, he'd be so much more popular. Why is he not that popular? He's only played in 21 games because he got injured. I mean, he's having a phenomenal season. And again, first overall pick. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, he's available in almost 40% of ESPN leagues. So if he's available in your league, I mean, why not pick him up? Unless your team is so stacked that you don't need him, which, hey, good for you. But I don't understand why. It doesn't seem like he's really getting the respect he deserves. And speaking of that, Jesper Bratt, another guy on the New Jersey Devils. He's been in protocols the last couple of games, but he's got 10 goals and 23 assists on the year. Okay? I believe he leads the Devils in assists and points. I think he leads them in goals, but I don't remember. But he's available in 75% of ESPN leagues. So, I mean, look him up. See if he's available, because he's having, just like Jack Hughes, an unbelievable season. I mean, these guys could lead the Devils into the playoffs and beyond for many, many years to come. It's just amazing how both of these guys, they just don't seem to be getting the respect that they deserve. And the only thing I can think about it is, well, maybe it's because they play the Devils and everybody doesn't like the Devils. Because otherwise, you run those, if you put those stats on a veteran player or any other player like that, 10 goals and 23 assists, I forget how many games. What is it? 34 games-ish? Somewhere in 35, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. So it's almost a point a game. It's practically a point a game. If somebody else is having that season, he's not on the Devils, I mean, he's going to be so much more popular. So do people just really hate the Devils that much? And I'm going to mispronounce this game, but Mats Zuccarello, he's got a 6-game point streak, 3 goals and 10 points in that stretch. He's also a plus 18, which is pretty cool. That would be his career best if it holds up. He was plus 17 previously, I think in 2014 with the Rangers, I want to say. Probably should have written that down. But he is a veteran, so he's been fairly consistent throughout his career. So you kind of know what you're going to get, which is the problem with, guys like Jack Hughes. You're not sure. I mean, he could go on a long slump and, not recover per se. Not saying he's going to, but you never know. Zuccarello, at least you probably kind of know what you're going to get. He's only had one 60-point season when he scored 26 goals, which is the only 20-goal year he's ever had. But he's also got 21 assists and 32 points in 29 games, plays for the Wild, and already has as many goals as he did last year. So this could be a season in which he might get to that, 50, 60-point mark again. You never know. Probably not going to have a point a game, but who knows? Maybe. I mean, anything can happen, but probably not. But if you need some depth, I mean, he's definitely worth taking a look at too. And I forget whether I actually wrote down what percentage he is available in ESPN leagues. I don't know if I did, but he's definitely available in a lot of leagues. So again, if you need some depth, look him up because he's having a really good year so far. But like I said before, I mean, the problem with the younger players, obviously, is you really don't know what the future holds for them. And with veterans like Zuccarello, you can say, like, okay, he's capable of a 60-point year. He might not get there. He might get 50. But, I mean, what did I say? He's already about 30, right now. So, I mean, he's got 32 points in 29 games. So you could look at that one of two ways. You could look at that as he's going to just cool right off, 20 points in the next 50 games or something like that. So he's not worth picking up, which it could happen. Or he could have that 60, maybe even a career 70-point year and really continue to be consistent. So, add him for some depth or something like that, if you need it. Obviously, like I said, if your team is stacked already, you don't need him, but he is worth looking into, I think. But that's the night I was actually going to compare him to, or I was going to compare Hughes to Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane, what did he go like a dozen games without scoring a goal? Was anyone worried about him? You're going to keep Patrick Kane for the whole season, not worry so much. You're not going to trade him at all because he's Patrick Kane. And that's the reason, okay, well, you don't know about Jesper Bratt, you don't know about Jack Hughes, anything like that, so they go in a slump. Lucas Raymond was having that problem there for a while too because he scored so many goals early, but he went on a long goalless streak. So you're like, is he going to come back to form? Like, what is he? That kind of thing. So, and the other guy I wanted to mention, who I've mentioned several times, is Jordan Kyrou. He's still only rostered in about 75% of ESPN leagues. So it's actually 74. So he's available in 26% of ESPN leagues. He's got he had a 7-game point streak snapped last game. He's got 14 goals, 25 assists in 35 games. Like Jack Hughes, he's a first-time All-Star, 23 years old in his 4th season. He only played 44 combined games in his first 2 years. So he's matched his career high in goals with 14 and has 4 more points and assists than he did in 55 games last year. So the guy is a stud. I mean, I have him on my team. I have Jack Hughes on my team as well. And they're just having phenomenal seasons. I mean, it may or may not keep up, but both of them are having phenomenal seasons. Both of them are all-stars this year. They're worth a look. And, they're worth a look just, hey, if you're a fan of hockey, these guys could be around and these guys could be the stars of the game for the next decade. So it's cool to just watch these guys develop, not just for fantasy purposes, but just in general, So that's where we'll wrap it up for today's video. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.